guys, welcome back to my really long channel. This is the Bed and Breakfast Star by Jacqueline Wilson. We're on page 156 and the next chapter is called Kentucky Chicken Takeaways. This goes on to 173 page 173 Before we make a start, this is Jacqueline Wilson's own work. I'm just reading it for entertainment and pleasure. So without further ado, let's get going. Kentucky Chicken Takeaways. I woke up early and read my joke books in bed. Why are tall people lazier than short people? Because they're longer in bed, ha ha. And then Pippa woke up for a cuddle, and Hank woke up for a bottle, and soon it was time to get up. Mum didn't wake up, Mac didn't wake up either. He was snoring like a warthog with a catarrh. So I had to speak up to make myself heard. Mum stared at last. Will you stop that shouting, Elsa? No, I'm not shouting, I said. I'm wounded. I'm simply speaking up because that little Scottish git is snoring fit to burst. Mum stared more vigorously. Don't you dare call Mac names like that, you cheeky little what's-it. That's what you called him just last night. We started to have a little argument. I might even have got a bit heated. Suddenly, the warthog stopped snoring. It reared up in the bed, a horrible sight. If you don't stop that shouting and screaming right at this minute, Elsa, I'll give you such a smacking you'll never dare say another word. He glared at me with his bleary eyes and then slowly subdued back under the covers. Hank gave a worried hiccup. Pippa started sucking her fingers. I blinked hard at the bulk in the bed. I opened my mouth, but Pippa shook her head and clutched me with her dribbly little hands. I gave her a hug to show her it was okay. I wasn't going to speak. Mac might be an idle lout, but he doesn't make idle threats. He always follows them, through. I waggled my tongue very impressively at the bed instead. Mum had her eyes open, but she didn't tell me off. When I went to take Pippa and Hank downstairs for breakfast, she sat up in bed and held her arms out to me. I'm sorry, love, she whispered. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. You're a good girl, really. I know you are. I don't know what I'd do without you. I cheered up a bit then, but when we went down to breakfast, the bunny lady said loudly to switchboard lady, Uh-oh, there's one of the little troublemakers. She pointed at me, with a lilac fingernail to match the new purple fluffy jumper. The manager wants to see your dad in his office, she announced. He's not my dad, I said, and I walked straight past, Hank on my hip, Pippa hanging on my hand. Mac is my dad's, Pippa whispered. Is he going to get in trouble, Elsa? I don't know, I said uncomfortably. Maybe we were all in trouble. Maybe we're really going to get chucked out. We went to sit with Naomi and her family at breakfast. They were looking dead gloomy too. Naomi's mum didn't smile at me the way she usually did. I'll tell you a really good joke about cornflakes, I said. No jokes, Elsa, she said, sighing. Okay, I'll tell you this cornflake joke tomorrow. It's a cereal, I said. I roared with laughter. It wasn't that funny, but I wanted to lighten the atmosphere. Naomi's mum stayed resolutely gloomy. I'm so sorry, guys. This is a bit ridiculous. So we have like a bike night near where I live, and it's really, really loud at times. So I'm really sorry if you hear anything like that in the background. And I didn't mean to pause this recording just to tell you that, but it is really noisy. So I might just pause every now and then so we don't miss any of the story. So without further ado, I'm going to keep going now and hope we don't get disrupted again. Naomi's mum stayed resolutely gloomy. Naomi chewed her lip anxiously. Even Nicky and Neil couldn't crack a smile. What's up, eh? I said, starting to film my baby Nathan playing the aeroplane game. He at least seemed happy enough to play, but Naomi's mum caught hold of my arm and took away my spoon. No, leave him be. Leave all my family. Haven't you done enough? Oh, Mum, said Naomi, it isn't Elsa's fault. She was the one who talked you into that television interview, said Naomi's mum. And now the manager says we'll have to go. Well, he says we've got to go too, but he doesn't mean it. He just wants to scare us, I said. I tried to sound reassuring, but I was getting scared too. Look, I'll go and see the manager. I'll tell him it was all down to me, if you like. Then at least you'll be okay. So after we had breakfast, I lumped Hank along to the manager's office, Pippa trailing behind us. I didn't have a handbrake to knock, so we just went barging straight into his office. The manager wasn't on his own. He wasn't having a little cuddle with the bunny lady. He was with Mrs. Hoover, and he didn't look at all cuddly. He was telling Mrs. Hoover off, wagging his finger at her. What's the matter, I said. Why is he being nasty to you, Mrs. Hoover? You, out of my office this instant, said the manager. It's your mum and dad I want to see, not you lot. I kept telling you I haven't got a dad. That Scottish bloke has nothing to do with me, I insisted. Oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes, my receptionist informs me that there's more disgusting graffiti about the Scots person inside the ladies' downstairs cloakroom, said the manager, still wagging that finger at poor Mrs. Hoover. She didn't do that. I know for a fact that Mrs. Hoover didn't write all that stuff on the walls, I said quickly, my heart thumping. Everyone seemed to be getting into trouble because of me, and it was awful. I decided to make a clean breast of things. What a weird expression. I haven't got a breast yet for a start, and it wasn't even clean because the basin in my room 608 was so gungy. I hadn't felt very much like washing recently. All the Mac jokes, they're mine, I said. The manager and Mrs. Hoover both blinked at me. You wrote all that revolting rubbish, said the manager. I thought about some of the jokes were quite funny, I mumbled. You children, vandals, hooligans, said the manager. It was just me, not Pippa. She can't write yet, and even if she could, she quite likes her dad. It's just me that I can't stick him. But you can't stop telling Mrs. Hoover off because, like I said, it was me. Oh, Elsa, said Mrs. Hoover. He knows I didn't write it, silly. He's cross because I can't clean it all off. Only I keep telling him that felt tip just won't budge, even though I scrub and scrub. I never see you scrubbing. The hotel's a disgrace. No wonder we have television crews traipsing in here making trouble. If I'm reported to the authorities, it will be all your fault. If you get reported to the authorities, it will all because you run a lousy hotel, said Mrs. Hoover. How can I possibly hope to keep a huge place like this anywhere near up to standard? Why don't you employ more staff? I'll be employing one less member of staff if you don't watch your tongue, said the manager. All right then, that suits me. You can stick your stupid job, said Mrs. Hoover, whipping off her overall and throwing it right in his face. Then she turned on her heel and flounced straight out of his office. I decided it wasn't quite the right time to plead Naomi's case to the manager. I ran after Mrs. Hoover instead. Oh gosh, have you really lost your job now? And it's my fault because I did all the scribbling on the walls, I wailed. Oh, Mrs. Hoover, I'm so sorry. Mrs. Who's it? Said Mrs. Hoover. Here is that what you kids call me? Well, don't you fret yourself, pet. I've had it up to here with hoovering for that dreadful man. I'll get another cleaning job. They're not that hard to come by, even nowadays. But I couldn't be absolutely sure she was telling the truth. I wished I was as little as Pippa so she could pick me up and give me a big hug to reassure me. I felt inside and stupid and sad and sorry. I was extra loud and noisy and bouncy and bossy at school to try and make myself feel big again. It didn't work. I kept telling jokes to Funny Face and he kept laughing, but Mrs. Fisher was frowning as she made us stay at playtime and write out I must learn to behave properly in the classroom 50 times. Funny Face is not very good at writing. His words wobble up over the line and slide down below it. His spelling's a bit wobbly too. He missed out one of the in classroom. Mrs. Fisher pointed this out huffily. I was scared she might make him do it all over again, so I tried to lighten things a little. Why can't you remember there are 2 S's in class, she said crossly. I've told you enough time. Which S did he leave out this time, Mrs. Fisher, I said. It was a joke. A bit of a feeble one, but a joke all the same. Only Mrs. Fisher just thought I was being cheeky. Do you know what happened? We had to stay in at lunchtime too. Funny Face had to write out classroom another 50 times, and I had to write out fresh 50. I must not learn to be cheeky in the classroom. I must learn not to be cheeky in the classroom. That's silly anyway, I muttered. That sounds like I can be cheeky in the hall, and cheeky in the corridors, and cheeky in the toilets, and cheeky all over the place. And I wasn't blooming cheeky to start with. I was just joking. You and your beep jokes, said Funny Face, laboriously drawing S's. Hey, don't be like that. This boy was kept in at lunchtime just like us, and his teacher said he'd write out this sentence of not less than 50 words, right? So do you know what he wrote? No, and I don't care, said Funny Face. Here, I've got all these poxy S's in the right place, haven't I? Yes, though, hang on, you've started to miss out your O's now. There are 2 in classroom, like us 2 in this classroom. But listen to the punchline bit of my joke. This boy wrote, I want to call the cat in for the night. So I stood at the door and called, here kitty, kitty, kitty. Shut up, Elsa. No, I haven't done enough kitties. There are supposed to be 50. And you've missed out another O there and there. You'll be going O in a minute when I punch you right in the nose, funny face growled. What do you give a pig with a sore nose? Ointment, I said, snorting like a little pig myself, because I think that's one of my funnier jokes. Funny face didn't think it funny at all. Why don't you shut your cake hole, he said, and he sounded so menacing I did what he said. I wish he hadn't used that expression. We still hadn't been allowed to have our dinners, and I kept thinking very wistfully of cake. When horrible old Mrs. Fisher eventually let us go, we had to squeeze in right at the end of the second sitting dinners, when all the goodies had long since gone. Not one chip left. We had to make do with a salad, and no one ever chooses bunny food from choice. I know some excellent bunny jokes, but I decided it might be better to keep them in their burrow in my head. Funny face still didn't look ready for mirth as he tromped his way morosely through his letters. We had a new teacher in the hall in the afternoon to take us for singing. It was a relief to be free of the fishy eye, and I was all set to sing my cares away. I didn't know many of the songs, but I've always been good at improvising, so I threw back my head and let rip. But the teacher stopped playing the piano. Her face was all screwed up, as if she had a terrible headache. Who is making that noise? She asked. We stared at her. What did she mean? We were all making a noise. We were all singing. Only you didn't seem to appreciate that. She made us start again, this time without the piano. I decided not to let this faze me. I sang out joyfully. The teacher shuddered. You, she said, pointing. I peered around. No, it wasn't anyone else. She was pointing at me. Yes, you, the little bed and breakfast girl. The other children around me sniggered. I felt my face start to burn like a Royal Hotel's toast. Could you try not to sing so loudly, please, said the teacher. Why, I said, astonished. Because you're singing rather flat here, and completely out of tune. In fact, it might be better if you just didn't sing at all, even softly. How about just nodding your head in time to the music? The other kids collapsed, nudging each other and tittering. Some stage star, eh? She can't even sing in tune, they hissed. I had to spend the whole singing lesson with my mouth shut, nodding away like a little noddy. I didn't feel much like making a noise after that. I hardly said anything on the way home from school. Funny face kept having a go at me, but I didn't respond. What's up, Elsa? Said Naomi, putting her arm around me. Here, I'm sorry my mum got mad at you. It wasn't really fair for her to pick on you. Oh, I don't know. That's what everyone does. Pick on me, I said gloomily. Hey, don't be like that. You're always so cheerful. I can't bear it when you're all sad. Tell us a joke, go on. But for the first time in my life, I didn't even feel like telling jokes. Mum gave me a big hug when I went up to room 608. She sent Mac out for a special Kentucky chicken tea. To make up for last night, lovely, said Mum. Sorry about that. And Mac's sorry he got snappy too. He's feeling better now. Mac might be feeling better, Mum. Might be feeling better? I didn't feel better at all. I normally love Kentucky chicken takeaways. I like to sit cross-legged on the floor with Pippa, and kids wear American pioneers like Little House on the Prairie, and we're eating chicken our pa has raised, and there are prowling bears outside who can smell it cooking, but we're safe inside our little log cabin. Play our game, Pippa commanded, but somehow I couldn't make it work. I usually finish off the game by pretending Hank is a baby bear cub, and we all feed him bits of chicken. Hank loves this game too, and then we didn't have a jolly sing-song. But now I didn't feel I ever wanted to sing again. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to tell jokes, and I didn't want to be me. Do try to cheer up, Elsa, said Mum. Come on, you're going to have to go to bed if you sulk around the room like this. I don't care, I said. So I went to bed really early before Pippa, even before Hank. Of course, it was difficult to get to sleep when the light was on and the telly was loud and there were 2.5 people and a baby still racketing around the room. But I put my head way down under the covers and curled up in a little ball with my hands over my ears. When I woke up, I couldn't hear anything, even when I took my hands away. I stuck my head out of the covers. I could hardly see anything either in the dark. It seemed like a middle of the night, and yet someone was cooking supper somewhere. I could smell chips. People sometimes stayed up really late and made midnight snacks. I licked my lips. I hadn't eaten all my Kentucky chicken because I'd felt so fed up. I could do with a little snack myself now. I wondered who was cooking in the kitchen. I'd go to know most of our sixth floor by now. Most of them were quite matey with me. I wondered if they'd consider sharing a chip or two. I eased myself out of bed. Pippa mumbled something in her sleep but didn't wake up. I picked my way across the crowded floor, tripping over Pippa's My Little Pony and stepping straight into a Kentucky chicken carton, but eventually reached the door. I opened it very slowly so that I wouldn't make any noise and crept out to the corridor. Then I stood still, puzzled. There was much stronger smell now, and there was a strange flickering light coming from right down the end in the kitchen, and smoke. You don't get smoke without fire! And that is the end of that. At the end of it, in the end, the motorbikes didn't seem too bad. So, sorry about that one time. Sorry about pausing in the middle. Thank you so much for listening. I think we're nearly at the end of this now. We're getting there. So we're on page 173, and that is called We Nearly Have Our Chips, but we are going to save that for next time. So until the next time, guys, thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.